the shift didn't happen. Periodically, you want to test your gear out. And I've been looking at identifying trees and places that mushrooms would grow for the spring. So there's this tree line back in the back of the field that there's probably a good 10-acre woods there. Doesn't have an address, probably the farmer's land, which, I mean, I got permission to shoot groundhogs. So kind of sort of got permission to go on the land, but I'm going to look at it. There is, look like a bunch of storage off of the northwest side of it. I saw lights there last night, so we're going to see what it is. And this is going to be a fact-finding mission. We're going to go covert, and which is the reason I'm dressed the way I am. We're taking my OBE with me, 20 pounds. We're taking my level 1 kit, almost 10 pounds. And we're going to take my foraging bag, which is probably 10 pounds. But since I haven't hiked in probably 2 months, I want to get out and do some walking, keep my muscles that lose their, well, basically my buttocks and my hamstrings, because once you start going over different terrain, you could walk 10 miles all day long like I do, but you know, you're not going to work those muscles. So I want to start working some muscles, or keep them in shape. I did put my window unit into my office. We'll see this afternoon how it works out. It's a little early in the day, right after lunchtime. So it is Red Shirt Friday. So everybody remember everyone deployed. It doesn't have to be a family member, or you could just remember the services deployed. I deployed a lot, so, you know, Red Shirt Friday is very special to me. But family, friends, subscribers, if anything happens to me, you know, either YouTube took me off or the government took me for whatever they want to take people for. I don't know why, but somehow I got put on the FBI watch list. But I can still fly, so it doesn't really make sense. So, I don't know. But I will check back with you. I'm going to be filming from my cell phone. But this is mainly, it's a tree finding mission. Not really good at trees, but I do have some books. So we're going to see if we can identify them better with the books and what I've learned in the last couple of weeks. All right, God bless you. Take care, and I will see you when I get back. So one of the main trees is behind me, is this walnut tree. Right there in the center of the camera. It, well, it drops its walnuts all the time, every fall, but I don't get them before it turns green. Before Wilder green, which is the best time to harvest walnuts. The leaves are good for medicinal purposes, like for cuts and stuff. The bark, if you boil it 2 times, it'll cure up diarrhea. So, you know, a lot of people will say this is the #1 tree to have, and it's hey, it drops nuts on my property. So the holes, obviously, if you they will stain, so they have iodine in them, so they're good for a stain, and then you can eat the nuts. So this is the first tree to identify. I don't know barks and stuff, but this is the way it looks. Obviously it'll have walnuts, shells all over the ground, and the leaves are, I can't tell by right now because it's winter time, but the leaves are, I think they're long and pointy. But so specifically, I'm looking for oak trees, elm trees, and tulip poplar, and I'm looking for elm trees for mushrooms, potential mushrooms. I don't think you can believe Google Earth. They didn't update it. Pretty sure that wood was gone. But my main thing right now is to get thought I had gloves on here. That's bad, no gloves. Anyway, my main thing is to find wood I can make a bow drill out of. I got some cedar and used that for my first bow drill, so it didn't work out for me. I've got some other things that I want to do. So this pouch is on my left side because I had it on the wrong side, and it works out good. It started falling down, so I tightened it up, and I'm like, duh. LBE's good, backpack's good. I feel like there's 20 pounds extra on me. But anyway, when you're looking, from what I've found out, when you're looking for trees in the winter where you can't find the leaves or the buds, look at what below them, you know? Like all the bark is gone on this one right here, and I'm not sure what that is, but this is what I need to find out. That's a holly bush. I mean, when I started this, I couldn't identify more than 12 trees. Now I can. And some of the things I saw on this walk before were May apples, and I know where they are. I meant to look at my steps first. I'll be back. I'm going to look at my steps and see where I started. So I'm right at 2.98 miles. That's how much I've walked today. So I see walnuts around this tree. I mean, who knows? That could be a walnut tree, but I can't remember what they said about the big, you know, they say it's smooth around here, and then they say they have this big things, and like a elm tree is stacked, their bark is stacked like a sandwich. So I mean, without knowing anything, I'd call this a walnut tree, but I could be wrong. But the only way you're going to figure this out is to study it and then go explore. I don't think I want to go through too many woods right now. I'm actually right now not trying to be too covert, because over here, yeah, around back here, you see the silo and the barn. That's the farmhouse. That's the farmer that probably owns this land. Like I said, the guy that farms it is different from the guy I talked to that told me to shoot the groundhogs. Kind of like yelled at me that I didn't shoot them. So this little water bottle holder that's on this side pouch, what I would call my haversack if I had one, is bad for my genital area. It's hitting my gonads, so I'm gonna have to do something about that. Ooh. So one of the things, switch this camera. Oh, cool. It's still recording. I didn't think I can do that. Um, this may be a mushroom area here. Not really sure, but along this tree here, I'm gonna harvest this because what's that look like? Looks like a turkey tail, right? This is medicinal. I'm gonna harvest this. I'll be back. Some of the trees like that, I think that's the characteristics of an elm. But, and then there's that tree. Don't know what that is. This one. And I believe, got a bunch of these around. I'm thinking that's a locust, but I'm not sure. I don't see any spikes on it, you know? That's not a locust. No spikes. We got a bunch of those around, so I'm gonna harvest some of this bark. See what I can find. So my app says this is a hackberry. It says that is a Chinese crabapple. It said this one was an armored honeysuckle. So I don't know if it's because I don't have signal, you know, for this app. This app is terrible out in the wilderness. When it's got Wi-Fi, it's good. So I'm gonna try to correct all this when I get back. But we're gonna move on. Yeah, so this tree right here is an armored hackberry, but the other one was too. So I don't have a whole lot of faith in this app. But you see there's a lot of down bark here. In the spring, this is where I'm gonna come. If I don't get trespassed or whatever, because nobody's coming out yet. It says it's about 40 degrees today. It feels like it's about 30. And I thought I had my gloves hanging on this thing, but I don't anymore. Took them off or something. But I'm gonna keep going here. Sorry about my finger. But I can take screenshots of this and actually see what these. See, that's a smooth bark. So that may be the tulip popular I'm looking for because all the branches are high on those. Not sure, but you won't know unless you explore. Should have layered some more clothing on too, because this fleece is not cutting it. But do this now, because the shift is going to happen. So there is a house right there. I just saw the road, so that is Hopewell Road over there. It's closer than I thought it was. It looks so far away, you know. This may be that road. Yeah, there's all this down tree. Not sure what it is. I'm also looking for willow, black and white. Ooh, sticker bushes. That's what's good about the winter around here. All the raspberry bushes die. I know what that root is. Poison ivy.
This area may be good too. They say to look at the leaves too, because if you see dark leaves, it's an indication of certain trees that also it's a place for mushrooms. This is the furthest I've ever went. I never went through the tree line. So that road is actually not a dirt road like I thought. This looks like a game trail. Okay, so that's where they're building over there. 14 warehouses are going up in this area. Had no industry after the shoe plants left. Now, one thing I didn't do this time is take my azimuth and my reverse azimuth, because during the winter I could see everything. I have to get my machete out. So this is, I'm in that woods I was looking for. Well, that's good. I want to go back as far as I can. A lot of deadfall. I think if I'm covert about it, it'd be a good place to hunt mushrooms. Yep, there's another tree. Shredding. So short. That could be I think a shredded willow. And look them up later. I brought my book, but gotta keep looking behind me. The last time I was in a woods, I had some cordage that unwound behind me. I think it was attached to my butt pack, and it kind of worried me. Thought something was following me. Thank you, Air Force, for giving me PTSD. All right. Yeah, come summer, I ain't walking through this way. Not without a machete. I have one. Man, trying to trip me. Just want to get through this woods, see what happens. Everybody calls it forest. I looked online about doing this sort of thing. All it says is Maryland can't take anything off the land. Good news is everybody should be hibernating right now. I don't want to make too many snaps on trees. So I see the field over there. I see the clearing over there. So that's another field. I knew this went back far. More trees. Like this one, it's very obvious this bark coming out. Now the train's going down into more of a wet area, which is also good. So what I know and what I don't know, I've gotten off of YouTube. I've got some books, but I got an Army field manual, and probably 33% of it pertains to around here. So there's a guy I started watching in Pennsylvania. He's probably, I don't know, 100 miles away from me. It's about the closest thing. And he knows where all the mushroom spots are up there where he lives. So I've been watching him. And it tells you what to look for. But, you know, you have your idea and you're like, oh, I know exactly what to look for. What kind of tree is that? You know? You'll know it. Like when I was driving today, I looked over at this tree line. I'm like, those are pines. Drove right up. Yep, they were pines. So that's something I couldn't do before. The only way you're going to be able to do this stuff is to get out and learn, take pictures and compare them to the internet, you know? Like, look how shredded this bark is. Now, there is a tree. See, this may be the elm I'm looking for. Because look how stacked that bark is, but like here. But there's also, look how diseased it is. It's got feet on the bottom and it's straight up. And that looks like, I don't know. So this may be a good place. I heard a car door. I don't know why I'm whispering. This may be a good spot. I just got to get my bearing. Okay, kind of in the center. Yeah, I can see the clearing over there. You know, Aunt Mike asked me, "You're going to be able to get me morels this year?" I'm like, I don't know. I can't even identify a tree. Yeah, I've got to tape all my connections on these because they're squeaking, and I don't like that because it makes me think that somebody's coming. Last thing you want to do is make noise. I didn't put my schmog over my head because I didn't want anybody to say there's a terrorist in here, and if anybody wants to pop himself a terrorist. I also didn't wear my bulletproof vest, so I don't want to get shot today. Yeah, you see it's going back uphill. This may be the spot, and that is a stump. Deadfall. That's what the mushrooms like. But I'm just trying to get the lay of the land now. You know, once I put all this stuff in electronic form, I can do with it the way I want. Attach pictures to. I have a spreadsheet I keep on my phone. It tells me everything that I look for and how good it is. Oh, that's a different tree. So, I mean, it is good for starting a fire. But it is a red cedar. My app finally worked on that one, and as soon as I got down through some of the bark, I realized that it wasn't what I thought it was, the way it was coming off. Realized it was a red cedar. Yeah, the wind is blowing, bugging me out, but you know, you got to get used to these signs. This thing. Lots of them like this, but I don't know what they are. There's a lot of cedar back here. See how that's coming off? Same thing. It's wet. All right, we're gonna go over here. Some berries on the ground. There may be a spot that a deer beds at night. Another cedar tree. See? coming out. Now I can recognize a cedar tree very easily. Okay. A lot of time on the edge of these fields. I don't want to get too far close to the edge. There's pines. And you can tell the pine in the winter very easy. Is that chaga? No, it may be. Let's see it. That's chaga. So, a couple of white boxes there. That business is on the other side of that tree line. So, I'm pretty sure that I need to get my compass out. See where I'm, which way's north. North is behind me. I know that's Hopewell Road over there. But if that's Hopewell Road, I need to keep heading this way towards that business. It's none of my business. Haha. Holy shnikes, look at that. Be chicken of the sea. It's pretty tough on there. Let's see what it looks like underneath. So that's porous. Porous octopi. No, I don't know. But it's porous, it doesn't have gills. I'm gonna go ahead and take them both. And see what they are. This here resembles chicken of the sea, but I don't know for sure. See the gills? I'm pretty sure that's what you want. This is a good mushroom tree. So put them in my backpack. Got a little cut there. So that's another reason you should wear gloves. Coming through the forest. Look where I am. I just did a circle. It's how easy it is. I don't know how I did that, but I know exactly where to come for mushrooms. Because all I got to do, there's the sun. There. So all I got to do is head down in this little divot here and I'll be home. I thought it was a little short getting through the woods like that, coming from the southeast side to the north side, but I went to the west side and I was probably like right in the middle. So I'm on the access road again, which looks like it's dirt. And there, once again, is that parading place, which is telling me I've gone the wrong way. I get turned around again. Easy to do, because my compass is not wrong. So I got to go that way. If I'm going to go northwest, I got to go that way. Okay, we're still going northwest. It's a good landmark right there, that tree. Is that a mushroom? No, that is a bone. want to thank everybody for watching, subscribing. Didn't really expect it. Little different thing today, away from you know, the urban heating. Just wanted to test some of my gear. Obviously LBE, my haversack, and then around there is my backpack. I love this stuff. Gives me great peace to get out here and walk around, you know, and look at things. Did a little bit of foraging, winter foraging. I don't know if they're any good, but this was a fact-finding trip mission. Taught me about my gear, how I set it up. Very few adjustments. Like I said, my haversack I had to switch to the other side. Found some areas where possible mushrooms in the spring, which I'm trying to set up my areas I'm going to go to every day because I'm taking off work.
Well, I'm back in my shop. This thing was awesome. It was light on my back, and I've got some heavy stuff in it. Binoculars, the heavy stuff is a brick hammer. I've got a small axe. Another knife with a parasite rod, and then a digger. So plus I had, you know, bags and some other stuff, but yeah, I didn't even really notice it was on my back, and that's what I really like. I'm gonna keep that out. So it was a nice adventure. You know, I didn't know what to expect, but I did find some places where I think I can find mushrooms. So that's good. This thing, it worked out well. The only thing that really happened, other than my orange cord coming out, is my excess got turned over and it put a crease in it. So being OCD, that is a problem. Now my LBE, everything was stood, it held up, except when I just put this knife on here, and I put it on with a coat hanger through the loops of the LBE, and it was hanging by the time I got back. So I could have lost that knife, and I really would have been bummed. There is one thing I need to do. I need to make this pouch closer to this, because at one point I thought I lost it because I had a knife right here, and then I ended up putting the knife back here. So I just need to do some minor movement, but all in all, it was a good adventure. You know, I wasn't as covert as I wanted to be, especially when I got turned around. I did, you know, which time, right? Yeah, so I got turned around 2 or 3 times where I kept running into the same spot, and then I did a full circle and ran into that same spot because, you know, earlier when I first went into the forest, I found these 2 cedar trees. I have to laugh at myself because it's so easy to do, and that's the importance of having a compass. You know, I didn't set up my azimuth and reverse azimuth when I started, which I really should have. But I knew I was heading south, and I knew what was east, and I knew what was west. So when I kept running into things that were to the east, I knew exactly where I was, and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not turned around. So I get out my compass, and I'm like, hey, north pointing the wrong way. No, I'm walking the wrong way. So it's important to know where you are, where you're going. But all in all, good day. Maybe I walked around an hour more than I should have. I mean, I believe the whole trip was 3 hours. It was an awesome hike. My legs feel good. My ankles feel good. And, my hip was hurting a little bit when I first started, but it went away. But overall, the gear sat really well on my torso, and that's what I wanted. My bandolier with the Mora knife, and the Mora knife was right here every time I needed it. When I needed to pull out that other knife with the saw on it, I call it my China knife because it was made in China. Pulled that out right away, and everything was right where I knew it was. When I got out my spare compass on my haversack, it was right where I needed it. So that's what you want. So I don't know how much of the adventure I'm going to show, but I just wanted to end it with this camera. And I wanted to, again, test my lapel mic because the last time I had it up here, obviously it was overdriving. So I didn't know how sensitive it was, but it's pretty sensitive. So, and when I started the video, I had it in my hand. So we'll see what the difference is, if any. Like I say, all the time, test your gear, test what you're going to do. There's a few minor changes I'm going to make with my LB right now because, being OCD, I have one pouch here and one pouch here, and it's, 3 to 4 inches off, and I can't have that because it just doesn't make sense in my mind. That's, one of the issues being OCD. If it was, a half inch off, I'd move it. But, it will allow my survival knife to be a little closer to me because I use my canteens as markers, and the canteen sat a little bit behind, kind of where my kidneys are. So that was good for me, My machete was right on my side where I needed it every time. Because there was a couple times I got tangled by some of the sticks and in between them, and if I would have walked, I would have fell. So, all in all, good day. I can't wait to go back there mushroom hunting in the spring. I'm still gonna get to know the lay of the land a little bit more. So my adventures are gonna be there probably once every couple of weeks, or maybe even once a week. Probably won't film it. I'll just go out in there. But one thing I picked up today, other than these containers, I got my mushrooms here. I'm trying to identify them. I don't know. I can't really identify them right now because my mushrooms are actually, my app shows that they're like a gum tree or something like that. I got these little jelly containers that I'm going to use. I picked up some acetone today too. I can't remember why, but I know I needed it. This was the find, Walmart, $5. So I saw a guy make a stove out of this before, and next week I'm going to make a stove out of this with my Stanley cup. Yeah, you didn't know I had the Stanley cup, did you? And that's the way I would heat water out when I'm out with my backpack for hiking. So stay tuned next week. God bless you. Take care. Again, thank you everyone for watching and subscribing. I'm a bit humbled and overwhelmed. I'm glad you guys are watching. I'm glad you guys are subscribing, and I will catch you all on the flip side.